All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on a hidden world, one that's operating just beneath the surface of all our daily interactions. We are talking about dark psychology. You could call it the invisible game of mental influence. So, let's just start with a pretty direct question. Is your mind truly your own? Now, I know that might sound like a strange thing to even ask, but as we're about to see, there could be unseen forces shaping your thoughts, your feelings, and your decisions way more than you realize. Okay, so first up, we're going to explore the world of subtle influence. Now, these are techniques you probably run into every single day. They're not always malicious, not at all, but they are used constantly to build rapport, maybe gain a slight edge, or just make our social lives run a little more smoothly. So let's start with a real classic. It's this fascinating psychological principle named after, you guessed it, Benjamin Franklin. And it's a surprisingly effective way to turn someone who doesn't like you into an ally. And it all starts with one really simple request, just asking them for a small favor. So how does this actually work? Well, when you ask for that tiny favor, like borrowing a pen, their brain gets this little glitch, something called cognitive dissonance. See, it's the mental discomfort of holding two opposite ideas at the same time. I don't like this person, but I just helped them. So to fix that internal conflict, the brain takes the easiest route. It changes the feeling. They start to rationalize it, thinking, well, I guess I don't dislike them that much after all. It's wild, but that one tiny request can literally start to rewire how they see you.
All right, so building on that same idea of subconscious influence, another really powerful tool in the toolkit is something called mirroring. This is all about creating a sense of familiarity and trust, and you can do it without saying a single word. Now, the key word here is subtlety. If you copy someone's every single move right away, it's creepy. But if you add a little delay, a gentle echo of their posture or their gestures, their subconscious mind registers you as being like them. See, our brains are hardwired to trust people who seem similar to us, and mirroring is a super effective shortcut to create that feeling of connection.
Okay, take a deep breath, because we are making a hard turn right now. Everything we've talked about so far, it can be used for positive connection. What's coming next, though? Not so much. These are no longer tools of influence. These are weapons of control. So in this next section, we are looking at tactics that are specifically designed to destabilize, to confuse, and ultimately to control another person. And recognizing them is your first and most important line of defense.
We have to start with one of the most insidious tactics out there, gaslighting. The entire goal here is to systematically tear down a person's trust in their own mind, which makes them completely dependent on the manipulator for their sense of what's real.
Imagine something simple, right? A manipulator moves your keys. When you can't find them, they say, "You're just so forgetful, I never even saw them there." Now, imagine that happening over and over again, but with bigger things, denying promises they made, twisting your words, or telling you you're being too sensitive. Over time, this constant assault of questioning makes the victim doubt their own sanity, which is exactly what the manipulator wants.
Now, an equally destructive weapon, one that's often used with other tactics, is love bombing. And this isn't real affection. It is a carefully deployed strategy, plain and simple.
This cycle is just dangerously effective. It starts with this overwhelming flood of positive attention. That's phase one. Then all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. The manipulator pulls away, leaving the victim totally confused and usually blaming themselves. And when the manipulator finally comes back, the victim is so relieved that they'll do pretty much anything to keep that affection from vanishing again. And that is what creates this powerful, addictive bond of dependency and control.
So, it's absolutely crucial to understand the line in the sand between healthy influence and toxic manipulation. Influence, right? It uses rapport, it seeks connection, mutual benefit, and it always respects boundaries. Manipulation, on the other hand, is all about one-sided control. It works by exploiting emotions and intentionally stomping all over your boundaries.
So now that we can recognize these weapons, the big question is, how do we defend ourselves? Well, the good news is that just understanding these tactics is the first step to making them useless. This knowledge is your shield.
And let's be crystal clear about this. You don't fight dark psychology by trying to play the same games. The most powerful defense isn't some clever countermove. It is simply awareness. Just recognizing what's happening, seeing the game for what it is. That's 90% of the battle right there.
So what does that look like in the real world? First, and honestly, this might be the most important one, trust your gut. That little feeling of unease, it's a critical warning sign. Second, learn to recognize and name the patterns. Ask yourself, wait, is this love bombing? Am I being gaslight? Third, you have to set and enforce firm boundaries. And finally, if you feel like your sense of reality is getting twisted, get an outside perspective. Talk to a friend, a family member, or a professional you trust to help you get grounded again.
At the end of the day, we're sharing this information for one simple reason. This knowledge isn't a playbook for you to use, it's a map. It's designed to help you see the hidden traps out there and navigate the complex social world we all live in so you can protect your own mind.
So, we'll leave you with this one final thought. You now have the knowledge. You have this shield. The only question left is, how will you use it?